Tim, I wanted to start tonight with Dr. John Reeves, who is a professor of Judaic studies and professor of religious studies. One of the things that he says is that in Deuteronomy 2, 10 to 11, the Anakim are linked with the Rephaim, which is a term with linguistic and thematic connections to the ancient Canaanite royal funerary cult. Moreover, the Book of Jubilees flatly states that the Rephaim were giants in Jubilee 29:9. So, what can we say about the connection between Anakim, Rephaim, and this royal funerary cult?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with John there. We sort of have a couple of different streams of tradition that connect to the Rephaim. It's a very complex uh, matrix of ideas that comes together in that term. You've got to pull together a whole lot of different ideas to get a comprehensive picture of who the Rephaim were and what they represented in the minds of biblical authors. So, on the one hand, the Rephaim are referred to as the ancient kings who passed away. You'll find that in Isaiah, in that passage describing the fall of Satan. The lead up to that famous passage where it mentions the you know the fall of Lucifer. You have the Rephaim rising up to greet the devil as he's cast down. And it's the idea that these are these are bad guys. Uh, their bodies are dead. They live in Sheol, and they are some nasty guys, right? But there's also this idea that they've been disempowered. They are weak now. They don't have uh, a physical embodiment. They've got no strength. And these are the dead kings from the past. Okay, so now we go back to the conquest narrative, and we have all these tribes which have various names, as you say, the Rephaim, the Anakim. A lot of these terms overlap, and there are some fine distinctions, a bit of nuance there as to how you sort of put them together. But the literary connection, or shall we say the linguistic connection between the Rephaim and this idea of uh, kingship and royalty and whatnot, that is an unbroken chain from as far back as we go in human civilization. Uh, and Dr. Judd Burton's done some really great work on this. I mean, he's the real expert on that. If you want to get him on the show, he's actually quite accessible. And yeah, even that term royalty, as I said, that term itself has a linguistic connection right back to Rephaim. That letter R at the start there, that isn't just a coincidence. That carries through every language group, tracing right back to that ancient time, right? So the idea of kingship and authority over nations and people groups goes right back to the Rephaim and beyond. Now, the Bible talks about these guys as these cruel tyrants, really nasty, and even in the afterlife, you don't want to be where they are. So it was the hope of the ancient Israelite that they would not remain forever in Sheol after death. And for that we've got Jesus to thank. But back then, of course, they're anticipating this, and they all they could do was hope that they wouldn't have to be in Sheol with the Rephaim forever. So these guys were scary, right? And so in uh, in ancient traditions about the Rephaim and certain members of the Rephaim, about King Og of Bashan. We're going to talk about him a bit more later. There, they've found inscriptions that this guy is going to avenge the dead. You don't want to disturb somebody's grave because he's going to come and avenge the person who disturbs the bones of the person buried there. Like that kind of stuff is freaky, right? So yeah, the Rephaim were not to be trifled with.